So my name's Lili. I'm a fine art graduate, artist, and an art teacher all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. Cool. So I want us to quickly, yes, not be lazy and do a bit of stretching, but you're going to see what I'm going to do. So those of you joining me now or even a bit later, I want you to stretch your arms. You see, I'm stretching up in the air, stretch up. So you can feel you're seeing maybe you're inside, you're seeing the roof. If you're outside, you might see some clouds. That's my idea. So try and reach to those clouds, everyone. Maybe stand on your tippy toes. Ooh, you can see I've just went a bit higher to reach those tippy toes and reach those clouds. Okay, now I want you to imagine reaching those clouds. And I want you to imagine what do they feel like, but still reach up. Okay, try and reach to the clouds. What do they feel like? Let me know. Fluffy, soft, squishy. Maybe they feel like your Labrador. Maybe they feel like your fluffy sweater. Think of all the things it can feel like. Okay, imagine that. Now, if you're going to look at the clouds, what do they look like? They might be a bit white, maybe a little bit of pink, a little bit of gray. Try and look. If you can really see clouds, I'm inside, so I can't see the clouds really, so I'm using my imagination. But if you can see them, think, what do they look like? They look a bit wavy. Okay, maybe some of them, do you ever play that game where you look at the clouds and you see something else? Yes, maybe you see, the other day I saw a tortoise or a turtle with all the cloud shapes. Maybe it looks like a funny man. Maybe it looks like a boat. Okay, what else do clouds look like? Maybe they look like, what's that, candy floss. Think of things that can look like. Okay, I want us to use our imaginations before we're going to learn how to paint clouds. So let me know in the comments. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so they're fluffy, they're white. And have you ever imagined what it feels like to fly in clouds? To me, the closest thing ever is if I'm in an airplane and I'm so close to those clouds and I feel like I could just touch them. Who's been in an airplane and you've flown through the clouds and you feel like you've almost so close you can touch them? Hey, but imagine you can fly through the clouds. Man, this is making me really want to paint and draw clouds. Okay, so what you're going to need, I've got some paper, but you're seeing a paper with color, but showing you a trick. Okay, I've used a white page to create color. You can do that. What I've done is I've just used 3 different colors. I've used a purple, a red, and a white, and I've just blended them together to create a beautiful background. Okay, that's acrylic, but you can use any sort of paint or coloring in things that you've got at home to do that. Or if you've got a darker page, because clouds are slightly white that I'm going to show you. Okay, so if you're going to paint on a just white page, it's also going to be fine, but you're going to color in the background afterwards. Or prepare a nice color maybe a few minutes before so it can dry like this one. Or maybe you've got a darker color paper like me sticking out over here. Any darker color paper, darker than white, can be any color. Okay, so you've got your page ready. I'm also going to use acrylic paints, which are a bit thicker. If you've got any sort of thicker paints with you, grab those. If you just want to watch and maybe go get some paints tomorrow at the shop, do that too. Okay, so are you all ready to paint some clouds? So if you are watching me now, you're a teacher, maybe you have a few minutes after another class where the kids are finished, you can have them prepare their page for the next class, okay? Using just 3 colors, okay? Squirt the colors out and just mix and paint over. Okay, that's a little trick to use your time well. Next, I'm going to put these down quickly. I've prepared myself some paints on a paper plate. Okay, my thick acrylic or any sort of tempera paints that you've got, okay, on a paper plate. I'm going to use quite a lot of paints. Then I'm going to use different shades, but I'll walk you through it, okay? You can use any colors to make your clouds. Don't be scared. Any colors for clouds. Remember when you looked at clouds, you see pink, you see gray, you see blue, might even see some green. Use the colors you've got. I'm also using something that is quite useful, is white. Okay, because white, if you mix it with colors, what happens? It becomes lighter. And this is where the cloud effect is really cool. So I would suggest having some white paint. Okay, always have lots of white paint. I've got little tubes of other colors, but I always have a lot of white paint. That's also a little trick to always remember. Then I'm going to use a pastel, okay, to draw on top of my color paper. And I'm using a light or a white pastel because if you're using a pencil, I've already drawn on pencil. And can you see it? You can't, hey? So I'm going to draw with a pastel or crayon that's a slight bit darker or lighter so you can see. And clouds, they have bumpy bits. Okay, so if you're looking at clouds, you want bumpy bits. I don't know if clouds are sharp points, but you can do that too. Again, when you're drawing and painting, you can be creative because it's your picture, your imagination, and what you're seeing and imagining. So I'm going to draw a cloud shape over here in the sort of middle of my page. I want to make, can you guys see roughly? I'm going to press harder. Make those bouncy bits of a cloud. Okay, so I made a smaller, slightly bigger, a little bit bigger going up. Then it's going down and down. But I'm not closing it up yet because I'm making a little cloud in front of it. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to make a bouncy, bouncy, bouncing like a cloud. Okay, now I'm going to close them up with just a wobbly line or straight line. There we go. And for funsies, I'm going to draw a little cloud popping out this side. Okay, because it's a nice cloudy day on my side. So I'm going to do one sort of peeking out on the side. So watch. And there. And a little bit over there. Okay, and I'm closing it up. You can sort of see it. Okay, it's almost hiding behind there. Now, I'm going to grab my colors. You're starting with darkest to lightest. Okay, so any darkest color that you have, if you have a blue and you want it to be even darker, do you know what color to take a little bit of to make it darker? Anyone? Yes, you need a little bit of black. So look over there. I've got a blue and a bit of black over there. I'm going to use my medium-sized brush and I'm going to mix it to make my darkest color I can get. Okay. Mixing it. Just want it to be perfect darker blue. Okay, so it's quite a dark blue. I've got my medium brush. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just painting this whole shape of my cloud. Okay, so I'm doing the first one that I've painted. You can use a mixture of some water also in there. And I'm painting quite rough because I like the effect of rough. You can also paint over your pastels. They were just little guidelines. Okay. So I'm painting over there. I thought this is such a cool trick because you always want to paint and draw a background with a picture. And I love clouds, so I thought it's great to understand and have a little trick how to draw them and make them look like real clouds. Okay, and this is for everyone, young and old. If you're super tiny, okay, you can do this with a bit of help. If you're an adult, you also learning. So this is great for everyone in the family who wants to draw and paint. Okay, so I've colored the first one dark, but I want it to be quite wet still. So let me just add some more paint. Okay, it's drying up a bit here. Now you have to work fast like me. You're going to make it a slight bit lighter, which means adding white. So I'm literally dunking in my white and I'm mixing this side. Okay, I'm mixing it to be a lighter color and I'm going to take it from the top again over. Okay, but you'll see I'm not filling all the way. You're thinking, why am I painting over this? You'll see now. So paint, but leave a little bit, doesn't have to be a straight line, but leave a little bit at the bottom. Okay. And I'm making it quite rough and it's mixing. It can be a wet on wet paint. Okay, you don't have to wait for it to dry. And there I'm going over it and over it. So now if you want to, your brush is wet, it's got paint on. You can put it in the water, okay, and then take a piece of cloth. There's my painting cloth, okay, and I'm drying it on my painting cloth. Also sometimes do it on my apron, but use your painting cloth or anything you can mess on, okay. Now it's a dry brush. You can see on your hand, it's not doing anything. Okay, now you're going to sort of mix those together. Okay, seeing that, mixing those together. So my background is quite dark. You might be using a slight lighter color. Again, use all the colors you have. But there I'm mixing those two different shades with a dry brush. And look, I'm literally brushing it so it gives a nice sort of texture to blend in. Okay, now you can clean your brush again, wipe it dry. Now you're going to go for the white. So I'm going to stick with my medium brush. Okay, and I've got my white here. I might actually hold it in my hand. Okay, and I'm doing the highlights. Okay, if you want to even be more precise, you can go a lighter color, but still not white. Okay, so even a lighter blue and then the white. That's being very, very specific if you have the time to do it. But I'm going straight into the white. I'm going to make highlights at the top. Okay, but look what I'm doing. Making sort of an outline, the top, roughly with my brush, going down like that. And I'm going down like that. And don't worry if you're not on the lines. With painting, we can sort of improvise. That's why I love painting. Okay, now we're going to do the trick of cleaning our brush, drying our brush. Okay, make sure it's nice and dry on your hand. And now you're going to blend those in. If you want to, you can sort of stay on the sides to make a curved shape. Okay, so it is great My room is very hot because the sun is shining in here, so my paint is quite dry. But if your paint gets dry, just put more paint layers on. Okay. There. I'm sort of blending it in. And you've got your highlights. Okay, for your clouds. What's great is I've still got this one and this one, okay, to practice on. So if you feel like, oh, this is not the best one, you've got more to practice on too. But I'm pretty sure it's looking amazing. Okay, so I'm going to paint at least one more in quickly. So let's do this together. I'm going to take a dark color. Okay. Dark gray blue. I'm going to paint this in. And look, doesn't take too much concentration because you've already drawn the outline of it. There we go. And I'm going to do the bottom one. Now you're going to see it nice peeking out over there. Looking fun. And now also think, if you're painting with me, maybe you want to add things with the clouds. Okay, I've got a little surprise of what I'm going to add in the background with the clouds. I'm going to show you now. Okay, so the dark color, after the dark color, a slight lighter color, which means using white paint and mixing it, okay, to create a lighter color. Now remember again, you're going from the top and leaving a darker one because that's what we did over there. Okay, going over it. There we go. And a bit over there. Adding. Okay. I'm going to do it on this one too, hoping my paint doesn't get dry. So sometimes you have to work a bit faster, but that's also fun. Okay. Cleaning my brush. Wiping it on my towel, making sure it's dry, trick of my hand, okay? And even if it is a bit messy, you have to have proof that you've painted, okay? So don't be scared about painting on your hands. So now you're going to just blend it in roughly, you can make little curved lines. This one's already sort of blended even, hey? Okay, there we go. Blending, blending, looking nice. Now I'm going to clean my brush again. And I'm going for the white. Okay. And I'm going to go at the top, making little curved lines over there, like that. And there. And I'm going to go straight into this one. Over there. I love having lots of white because you can mix all kinds of colors of your own. Okay. Clean your brush again. Wipe it dry. Test it on your hand. Okay. And now you're going to blend it. And if you feel like you've got too much paint on your dry brush, wipe it on your cloth. Okay. These are tricks. The more you do it, the more you're going to use it for other things to highlight and create shading. Okay, so there I've got too much white. I want to just blend it a bit like that. So if you want to be precise, because the sun is maybe shining from this angle, you can keep more white, okay, on a certain side, okay, but that gets a little bit complicated. But the sun is sort of shining on this side, okay, and you can see the highlights. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to do this one. It's also got a bit much, so I'm going to dry my brush. You can also use a smaller brush and be more precise, because the more precise, the more realistic it's going to come look. But that's if you want a realistic style. If you want a bit more of a rough style, you can see the way I'm doing it. It's a bit more rough. And again, if you feel like, ooh, it needs a little highlight, okay, which is great. If you stand away from your painting, if you put it a bit further, you stand away, you're going to see it popping up, and you can actually see the different highlights and shades and contrast. And maybe you go and you look at it from a bit further and you realize, oh, it needs a little highlight just there. Okay, that's for being a bit more advanced. Again, depending on what level of painting you're at. So I'm going to just finish this one a little bit. Drying my brush constantly. There we go. Okay, slowly fading in. Look at those clouds. I definitely want to go floating there. Now to add some little bit more detail, I'm actually going to be a bit fun, and I'm using a Sharpie or a marker. Okay, and I'm going to add some stars. Let me just think over here. So I'm making little stars like that. Did you see? So it's a little, let me do it here. It's a little up like that. Okay. And then you just go down and connect and color in. So those are little tricks for stars. You might not see this one on your, you can see a little bit of it. You can also use white paint. Use a bit of white paint in between for those stars to look there. I'm going up to the sides, connecting there, doing that. Gonna do this one that side, adding some stars. If you want to, you can even splat. Okay, if that's the right word, you use a wet brush, maybe a thicker one, and you can make some smaller stars if you want to, if you've got space to mess. I'm also going to add a little moon shape over there. Ooh. Let me do it from the top, this angle, and taking it down. Then we just neaten it up a bit. There we go, there's a moon. And a starry little night. Okay, and now I'm going to use my marker and I'm going to make a rocket. Because who doesn't want to be on a rocket in this landscape? I want to. Okay, so let's think. I'm going to draw a rocket going through the clouds over here with my marker, because it's nice on the light, the marker pops up. On the dark, maybe some white, maybe you've got some white marker type thing. What do you call it? You call it a chalk marker. Maybe you've got some of those. Okay, here's my rocket. It's needing its extension. So what are you adding to your cloud landscape that you've just made? I'd love to see what your imagination is all about, what you love. Maybe you're not into rockets, but you're into rainbows or unicorns or flying spaceships or anything. Okay, imagination is amazing. So let me know. I'm going to just add the sides. I'm going to add some booms over there. And look at my picture that I've just made. Learning how to draw clouds or paint clouds. So thanks everyone. If you've enjoyed learning how to draw clouds, and many, many more, because we didn't just do that today. We actually did quite a few things. Type art in the comments because you can be part of this amazing online art club with me, Teacher Lili, and we will send you a link to join our wait list for when it opens up for subscription again, which might be soon. Not giving anything away. So type art and we'll send you more information to be part of this. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.